Okay, we're here continuing with our amazing prosperity panel, and we were talking about what it takes internally to be able to have the type of energy and foundation you require to create prosperity. So let's see, my goodness, who should I go to next? Christine. She's been quiet. Okay, so give us some practical tips. So I want a couple of really focused practical tips on taking your financial prosperity to the next level.
Okay, one of the things I realize with a lot of women is they have no idea what they even have. They don't have sort of an inventory of where they're at. I mean, in terms of your assets and your liabilities and your debts and everything. You don't know where you're going to go if you don't know where you're starting from. And I think it's really important to know exactly what you have. If you're in one of those relationships where, oh, I don't handle the finances, forget that. You get involved with the finances. You know exactly where you're at. You know exactly where you're going to go. And you need to put a plan together. What does your business require? Does it require a lot of assets? Do you have those assets? Might you have to raise capital to get it? Do you need partners? Understand what you need to grow and build this business. And it's like everyone's talked about. It's mentors, it's coaches. You cannot believe how much people are willing to give you for nothing. It's staggering. There's lots of people here that are retired that have done incredibly successfully well, who are dying to be able to use their energy and their knowledge and effort to help you. It's a matter of reaching out to these people. I'm amazed how hesitant people are, like, oh, they're not going to talk to me. Oh, you know, I'm not at their same level. You're at everyone's level. Everyone here can talk to everyone. I was at a conference. I looked over. And I saw Bill Gates, and I thought, I don't know Bill Gates. I don't know if any of you have met him. I went up to him and I said, Bill, you haven't met me yet. I'm Christine Adzich. It's so great to meet you. And he was just thrown. He goes, oh, great to meet you too. And that's what I'm telling you. And at that moment I learned, you know what? There's no one I can't talk to. And there's no one any of you can talk to.
Speaking of, you know, you just reminded me of this thing that I read years ago that really impacted me. Now, whether it was true or not, it impacted me. And it was about Bill Gates and the fact that he had said, if I drop a $100 bill, I will not bend to pick it up. Because if I bend to pick it up, I will waste at least 500 in the time that I use. And it taught me something about delegating that it really has stayed with me. So as women, we have challenges delegating. Do you wash dishes, Christy?
No.
I mean, Allie. Christy,
No.
Allie, Marcy.
Woo. I do not, except, well, once in a while when company's coming. But
okay.
No, that's a great tip to bring up because women don't realize what their time is worth.
Yes.
Absolutely. And especially when you're a business owner, time takes on a whole different meaning. Your time is money. Entrepreneurship is about turning time into money. So one of the things we focus on a lot in our programs, I have to say this because it's so funny, your event's called Rise, mine's called Shine.
Yes.
Rise and then shine.
Rise and shine, baby, yeah.
Which is in the beginning of November.
Yeah.
But the event's about creating business models that make profits for women, but we spend the whole first day looking at your time and prioritizing because women have a huge problem with this. They have great ideas and great businesses, but they can't move forward and they don't get things done. We were talking about this before. We were doing the show before you got here. I hope you know that. In the back room. We were already going. This is so much fun. And we were talking about how the women don't get focused, and often it's because we think like this, right? Right? All these different projects and things. You need to set up a system that will make you get focused, and that starts with your time and how you manage your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the principles that I really teach is, you've heard the old saying, time is money?
Yeah.
That is such crap, really. Because time is time.
What do you really think about
and
sugar?
Money is money. Yeah, it is, right? Because time is time. Money is money. You spend your money, you do whatever, you give your money away. It's either easy or it's hard, depending on how much money you have. But you spend it, you give it away, you just go make more of it. But when you spend your time, it's your most valuable asset. You're given a certain amount of time, and when it's gone, it's gone. So I look at time. When you say, do you wash dishes, I look at time as my most valuable asset.
And do you have someone who do that for you? Do you have house help?
Course,
and you know what's great too? You're giving someone else a job by doing that. And a lot of us women don't see that benefit of hiring help for ourselves. You're giving that woman who's helping you with the house or childcare or being an assistant for you just running around to the post office, you're giving someone else income at the same time. And that help, when I point that out to women, they suddenly feel a little less guilty about it because there's some guilt involved at first. My mother didn't have a housekeeper.
Right. I want to move from this topic to the next one, but a couple of things I just want to say. What I have realized with women having a challenge, having help in their own home is two things. Number one, I don't know if they're going to do it as good as I do, so it's a control issue. And then the other one is, I'm going to spend $100 for someone to come clean my house for 5 hours. If you spent 5 hours, 5 focused hours with your intention on being productive, then you got to be able to do more than $100. And if you don't think you do, then you really have to start releasing some things that are getting in the way.
Ellie, before we switch bases, this is a really important fact. I just read this the other day. 54% unemployment from ages 16 to 25. 54% unemployment.
Cheap labor.
Here is what is out there for you to know about that. One is, this is a generation of kids that doesn't work. I started working at 16. I'm sure a lot of the people in the panel here are shaking their heads. They started working. These kids don't have work experience. So now we're in an economic situation where you graduate from college or even grad school and advanced degrees, and you can't get work. Part of it is you have no work experience. These people need you. You need them. They're called interns. They work for free. They are incredibly smart with the internet. They can help you. There's something called Craigslist. They're out there. And it's amazing how people don't tap into these resources, especially the young people who are dying, and I do mean dying, to get some work experience.
Yeah.
I just met a guy who did a startup. He's got 7 employees. He doesn't pay a single one of them, including 2 programmers or engineers.
Okay, so now speaking of that, is it only me, or on your way to financial success, or is it maybe only me? Have you been in a lot of credit card debt? Have you at one point invested more in your business than you were even making? Have you been so overwhelmed financially that you thought, I better quit this at least 7 times a day, but you did it anyway, or is it just me?
Oh, no.
Hallelujah. Praise
Marcy, tell us.
I actually.
Oh, it's just me.
No. I didn't have huge financial success for a long time.
Yeah.
But I just kept plodding along. For me, it was a matter of persistence.
Yes.
And just really hanging in there, and then something broke through. And I know that's different for different people.
Yeah.
So I actually really started very early on tithing, and I found that as soon as I started tithing, I never got into debt. So I don't know.
So
I mean, I was 20 when I started doing that.
Let me ask you a question on that, and then we'll move on to, you were going to say something, Ali. How do we, as women, or as human beings, but as women, not get attached to the fact that I'm going to start tithing, but I'm going to do it because I know it's going to help me become more successful?
Right.
Because then that takes away the whole concept.
It is a trick. It's a little trick.
It's a
and
trick.
I have no idea how you come to, I just was told, Lynn Twist, who's this amazing woman who wrote a book called The Soul of Money, just used a great analogy, and I think it works for that. She said that money is like water, that it's designed to flow, and when it flows out, it nourishes, and it feeds and allows life to grow. But when you hang on to money, it becomes like stagnant water, and it becomes toxic, and it becomes destructive. And so I think that when you have the idea in mind that money is here to flow and it's here to serve, that in all ways, that when you're paying your bills, you're not looking at it like, oh God, I'm having to pay this bill. You're looking at it as a flow. Then I think that approach to money and prosperity is really a key to shifting how you deal with it in your life and how it shows up.
I want to say, I do that with parking tickets. If you get a parking ticket or something, just go, okay, this is my contribution to the city. Right? It changes the feeling about like, how could I have left my car on the street, or how could I have done whatever? And you just go, okay, if I can make this a donation, and I make it from that state, then it's a whole different thing. And then you're allowing that to like move.
But sorry, to your point, Ellie, I have started businesses that have failed, and I've started businesses that have been successful. Here's the important thing that I learned. When a business fails, I don't fail. I'm not a failure. And that's a big distinction I think women have a problem making. You personally are not a failure. That business was a failure. And you have to remember that you can keep going, and the next thing will work better. And it's, when's the time to let go? There's a time sometimes to let go.
Okay, fabulous. You are all great. We're going to continue the prosperity panel in just a moment. We're going to dig deeper into prosperity.